I bet you love it when your customer service team is totally bogged down with tickets. No? I'm being facetious. No one wants that for their team, especially in the weeks leading up to an event. And the answer is an outstanding guest confirmation letter. And so I'm going to give you the ingredients, the anatomy, if you will, right now. Here's what to include. I've got a whole list for you. In fact, I wrote this out, the whole letter, all the words inside of Live Event Academy, but I don't want to bore you and read it while we're here hanging out together today on the podcast. But I made a list of the important points. And so this might be one of those episodes where you get out a notebook and a pen and write things down as we hang out together, or perhaps even better yet, this is probably going to be one of those episodes that you assign as a task inside of your project management system to your integrator, your project manager, or whoever your event planner is. Have them listen and make them a task to not only listen, but then draft up a template that you can use over and over again for every single event that you do, so that it reduces the volume of questions coming in to your team during that super busy time leading up to your event. I don't want your team bogged down in the weeds of questions. I want them being proactive, getting this information out to your guests so that we're less reactive to stuff coming to us. Because let's be honest, in the lead up to an event, it's an exciting time. There's lots of questions that come up. I know you've been there too, where you're getting ready for a mastermind or another special conference that you've decided to attend, and you've got questions and you want answers because you're excited to go and your guests are in that same space. So let's get them the information that they need. And pro tip here, you may even consider making some pieces of this into a video that you release on your social media and on your event website as a way of creating a fear of missing out for those who haven't yet made the decision to register. I think releasing a video like that, sending it an email, putting it on your event registration site, putting it on social media with the tone of, okay, now that you've registered, I want to make sure you know what to expect. Here are some details you need to know. A person getting that video who has not yet registered for your event is naturally going to be curious. So that is a marketing pro tip for you. But there's going to be some stuff in this list that you obviously would not want to include in a video that is being released to people who are not yet registered. For obvious reasons, security and otherwise, you're not going to give them the exact venue, location, times, all that stuff. So let's get into it. I have seen this delivered as an email. I've seen this delivered as a product inside of Kajabi in kind of on a concierge page, if you will. There's lots of different ways to do it, and I would say the more the merrier. The more places that you can get this information into the hands of your guests, the better. I think this should go out as an email. I think it should be sent as a text. I think it should be, I love a concierge page, a Kajabi product, something of that nature where it's like a one-stop shop hub for guests. The more places that you can show this to your potential guests, the better chances inside the community, the better the chances that they will see it, and then it will answer their questions before they go out to your customer service team to try to get their question answered. Okay. So let's get into it. First, it should be extremely celebratory. The first line should be, "Yay, you're registered." I think there's a little piece of all of us who wants that feedback loop, that confirmation that, yes, we did all the steps properly. We did put our card in there. It was accepted. They got our name and our email right. We didn't fat finger and type it wrong. Like, we're registered. Yes. Let's even if there's a confirmation email that goes out the moment that they buy their ticket, let's also use that language inside of this email, because there's usually a gap. Now, my preference is that there isn't a communication gap between the day that a ticket's bought and the week or two before the event, when it's time to send out this guest confirmation letter. But let's say there was a gap. Having that reassurance is always helpful. So open with, "You're registered. Yay," full of excitement, energy, high energy. Then I love to drop an agenda in there, because that's what everyone wants to know. And even if your position is, and this is the position I support, less is more, in terms of you're not sharing when guest speakers are presenting, you're not sharing exact end times or meal times, and that's okay. Give what you can. Give a little bit more than they maybe got on the registration site, so that they feel like that craving for that agenda has been satiated, if you will. So first, your registered language. Second, an agenda. Third, the location. Give them all the specifics that they need in order to get there, whether it's virtual or in person. Give them the information that they need. If it's virtual, you're going to want to, and this is a link, you're going to want to resend that about 1 million times after this guest confirmation letter, but it doesn't hurt to include it here. Fourth is registration. So is there going to be on-site registration, or is there going to be virtual registration where people are going to have to check in, get a badge, get additional information? Give them that information here. If there's VIP information for people who have upgraded, include it here. And yes, even if they're not VIP, I wouldn't say segment your list for this, because I always think fear of missing out is a major driver of action. And so when you put information that is just for VIPs inside this email, it tells the people who haven't yet made an upgrade for their ticket that exactly what they're missing out on. And so you can include a link here to upgrade if you still have upgrades available, and give that information to everyone else all at this time. I think that's great. The excitement is there. You might get a few more VIP registrations out of this. And I would say, though, if there's any sort of special, let's say a VIP reception, I would not be putting the location in this. You could be putting like the where and the when, or you could put the when and maybe the what, but I would definitely send a separate email with that information just to the VIPs, so that you don't have people showing up that have not registered as a VIP. Also, number 6, policy stuff. There's all sorts of stuff under this umbrella category. This includes things like if they've got a friend that wants to come, what to do, what if they need to cancel, do you give refunds, what if they show up late to registration, like at the event, and they're not coming right at the beginning. What's your videography policy? What's your photography policy? Will they have to sign a waiver when they get there? Just policy stuff. So you know what it is for your community. Let's make sure that kind of the rules, the regulations, the policy stuff, it's all kind of covered right there, so it's not a surprise. Also, another umbrella category is hospitality stuff. So things like, what's the internet Wi-Fi situation going to be like? What's lost and found? What about attire? What should they be wearing? How about things like sleeping rooms or air or ground transportation or parking or the fitness center. I love to give people all the information that they might want to have a comfortable experience, not only inside of the event, but off hours as well. Maybe it's even where to get a running map. So I think through what questions have come up in past events and just continually upgrade your guest confirmation letter with that information so that people get their questions answered. Again, this is all about proactively sharing information with them so that you don't have to be reactive and have your team answering all sorts of questions before your event. And then lastly, just keep that energy level high about your excitement over the upcoming event, about their arrival, about them being there. I need you to remember that you're still selling. You're selling them showing up. Do not forget that your communication between them registering for the event and them physically being there on site or being like dialed into the Zoom, logged into the Zoom, it's all about selling. You're still selling showing up. I've told you before, I bought tickets that were more than $1,000 each for myself and my husband to attend an event, and we did not go. It just seems ridiculous that I would flush money like that down the drain, but I did. And it still bugs me a little. But I didn't show up. And I think it's so important that we, as the CEOs, the leaders of this event, remember we're still selling showing up. So remember, number 8 is keep the energy high, keep the excitement high. You are still selling the event. And at this point, you're selling them showing up. Okay? I hope this has been helpful. I hope this helps you feel empowered that you can take charge of that volume of customer service tickets that comes in before an event by more proactively sharing more information about the event. I mean, yes, I'm all for keeping secrets and surprises. Surprise and delight all day, every day. But the more that we can give that will alleviate the questions that people have, the better. It will just give them this sense of warm and fuzzy and reassurance that 1, they're registered, 2, your team is on it, and 3, they need to show up. So give this episode to your integrator, assign them the task of drafting your guest confirmation letter, send it out as early as you can. I love that 2-week out time frame. That's usually when the questions start to bubble up and people start to think forward thinking in their calendar. And have some fun with this and share it everywhere. All right. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make it an outstanding rest of the week. Take care.